We begin our reading of the Ecclesiastes, or Kohelet. And I'm using the Complete Jewish Bible, so if it doesn't read exactly as your favorite King James or other edition, understand that I'm not using that version. Pointless, pointless, says Kohelet. Utterly meaningless, nothing matters. What does a person gain from all his labor, at which he toils under the sun? Includes the first reading. Pointlessness of this world. What do we gain from everything that we work? I'd like to just address on that issue, by which we could sit there and look at our lives. We work sunrise to sunset. Some of us even beyond that. Our husbands work, our wives work, our children work, and it becomes harder and harder in today's world to make ends meet. It's pointless. We shouldn't be laboring after our own flesh. We want to cleave big riches and live opulent lives. When we're told by our governments that we need to hold, however, we see extravagance at the means. There was a show out by Mike Myers who says, where does all the money for the poor go? And where does all the money for the rich? And really that's what it is, an us versus them society, where the poor go hungry, naked, starving. Homelessness is ignored, it becomes a problem, it becomes a crime. When instead of providing the proper shelter. And if they do try to build a shelter, you have people in residence complaining, saying, we don't want those people here. Build it somewhere else. But they go from community to community, area to area. There is no place. They take it out to the country, and farmers are complaining. It seems everybody doesn't want anybody. And we're not being godly. But we'll come to church, and we'll sing Amazing Grace, or whatever our favorite hymn is. If this year we're being punished, there's going to be cataclysmic change. There's going to be revolutions in places that we haven't seen. In this year, there's going to be a pouring down of God's wrath, retribution, and atonement as it is for our own sins. Because we've become a hard-hearted people, and a hard-hearted nation, and a hard-hearted area. We need to come back in circumstance. What is the pointlessness of what we're doing for? We care about our lives. Do we have a fancy house? Do we have a fancy car? Do we try to keep up with the Joneses and has to have a pool and other luxury items we really don't have to do without? How much more expensive is it to go to the beach as it is to have your own private pool, which is filled with chemicals which only harm your flesh? Why hard is it to basically shower and bath at home rather than going out to these public extravagances? How hard is it to share a meal and invite in a stranger? How hard is it to give a threepence to a community organization that reaches out to them? How hard is it would it take a community band together and build appropriate housing, have it monitored, changed, whatever, to make sure that the people are well cared for? How hard would it be to build these things? Not at all. We go through billions and billions and billions of dollars squandered, alright? They can't find it in the government to spend 5 cents toward the poor, but they can spend over $1 billion on Olympics. Opulence of life. Do any of the poor people get tickets? No. Only sold at a price that only the rich could afford. So these treasures are only nothing for us. Don't bring anything for the common man. They just bring stuff for the rich and for their pleasure. And once again, we find ourselves in Rome being thrown into Colosseums. How much longer is it before they demand for blood? Go beyond just fighting and running and wrestling in the rings. They'll want to have live sacrifices brought forth and live lions sought upon us. These things have been in the past before, and we've come full circle. And the opulence of society and the carelessness of government once again has come full circle. Just think about that as you dwell upon the words of the Ecclesiastes of the prophet. It is fruitless. It is pointless. It is meaningless. Having food and raiment, said the Messiah, be therefore content. Until the next reading, Shalom.